Your child's anger isn't the problem, it's a dysregulated nervous system. Hi, I'm Dr. Roseann, and I make calming dysregulation easy. All kids get angry sometimes, and yet it's such a trigger for so many parents. And we often lack the skills on how to manage an angry kid. And then we get stuck in a reactivity cycle. We both become dysregulated. So I want to help you break this often generational issue that just gets passed from one family to another over the generations because it's not that hard. And it's about you shifting what you're doing and actually using simple strategies that work. Why is anger so hard for kids? Why is it so hard for parents? Well, number one, we view it as bad behavior. Your kid is doing this on purpose. They're disrespectful. They're trying to make me mad. We have to shift our thinking to nervous system dysregulation as the source, because when we do, we don't personalize it, right? In our comms protocol, we don't personalize behavior, and we actually become more available to help our kids, right? So what are the causes of it? It can be nervous system overload, it can be sensory overload, it could be kids having poor impulse control in general. Maybe there's a developmental lag, maybe it's ADHD, it can be anxiety, and certainly unmet needs cause kids to get angry. Of course, a lack of coping skills, a lack of an ability to manage and problem solve when things are disappointing, uncomfortable, don't go their way, right? And until we regulate, we can't go back and help them. Again, we get caught in this yelling cycle, reactivity cycle. We meet their anger. If you feel frustrated, kid probably feels frustrated too, but even lacks that ability, right? So what are 3 simple steps to help kids be less angry? Not just in the moment, but improving it for them for the rest of their lives and breaking this generational anger cycle that I see happen way too often, people. And again, I'm telling you that not to shame you, but to inspire you to move your butt. Number one, what am I going to tell you, right? As part of our step 1 in our comms protocol is co-regulate, right? Don't go in hot, okay? If you feel frustrated, pause, step away before reacting emotionally, right? We always focus on giving our kids timeout. No, I used to say mommy needs a timeout. I had a pants kid that was a hot mess and led with anger. It is tough. I'm not saying it's not tough, but you chose to have kids. You have the power. You have a fully developed frontal lobe. You have the power to do this, right? And it starts with empathy and understanding. And when you meet your kid with that, they're going to develop those skills. Okay. How else can we do this, right? Number one, don't go in hot. Reset to regulate first, right? We want to lower our voice. We want to slow our movements. We want to look what our face is, right? If we're like, and we're mad, or we're like neutral. Sometimes kids really struggle with neutral. If we try to be calm, our kids can borrow some of our calm, right? That's what co-regulation is all about. We want to maybe do a deep breath to encourage our child to do that. I love a good old grounding touch, a hand on the shoulder, a hug. What your child will allow you is always helpful. And if you can get into a good pattern of a hug, doesn't it feel good? Doesn't it feel good for you? It takes you out of your anger. When kids are angry, besides not going in hot, don't use words. Really try to minimize your words. You can say, I need a break, and walk out of there. Don't slam the door. Use visuals. We want to pull back as much as possible to help our kids. Step 2, we're going to help them move out of anger, right? So anger is an energy that needs to be redirected. It needs to be channeled from an unhealthy response to a healthy way to manage anger, right? We are not always avoiding anger. It is a normal emotion. However, if your child or you are stuck in an anger pattern, you need some help, people. Wishing on it, sprinkle therapy, doing the magic wand on it ain't gonna happen on its own, okay? What are some nonverbal ways to help your child move out of anger? Because that's what I like to do. What I like to do is say, Do you want, and again, this is a consistency, right? You can say this to a teenager. I'm going to, give you three options, get your fingers up and say, I'm going to ask you which one you want. You can respond to with one, two, or three. Okay. It's going to take some time for your kids to respond. Number one, do you want a hug? Number two, do you want me to sit here quietly? Number three, do you want me to walk away? Okay. 90% of the time, kids are going to choose one or two. Okay. And it's perfectly fine, people, to hug your kid, put your hand in a loving manner on your kid when they're dysregulated with some firm, nice firm to help them reset. You are not telling them anger is okay. What you are telling is, I love you and I'm here for you and I'm here to help you regulate. What are some other ways to help release anger, right? So physical ways, right? Push-ups, jumping jacks, trampolining, wall push-ups, getting it out. Maybe your kid, when they're angry, lets you have a dance party, as we do in our house a lot. Do a lot of hugs even when nobody wants it in our house. They all want it. Come on. And when Mr. Muscles Hodge gives you a hug, he crushes you, and the kids laugh. They think it's so funny. You can give verbal cues, right? Like you can help them say, I'm in control of my body, not my anger, right? And kids, again, they start to do this in a subconscious level. And you're going to test out some of these things, what works best for you. Even though I feel that most kids in an angry state respond to nonverbal cue. You can help them through things like humming, right? Which is a reset, right? So like, okay, let's hum through this. You can help them through, EFT tapping. You could do 1 point. You can do butterfly tapping on the chest to help to calm a nervous system. Again, you don't want to throw it all at them like a buffet at an all-inclusive resort. You want to really test these out individually and help your kid, right? And know that it's not about avoiding anger. It's about teaching them what to do with it. How about that? That's our role as parents, right? Again, if we come in hot, what are we teaching them? Teaching them it's okay to be angry all the time. And I don't have to learn something else. Don't expect something from your kids that you're not willing to do yourself. You got to do these things yourself. So step 3, we want to reflect and reset after an anger episode, right? So it happens. And again, it's how you handle it. And you learn to build an emotional resilience, right? We're not going to shame our kid. We're not going to lecture our kid. When I tell my 80s stories, this is like when we're hanging out, right? It's not a lecture, I mean, we've all been there where I'm like, my gosh, Philomena was always chasing us with, not so much me, my sister Nina, with a wooden spoon to fear parent us. Not a great thing. But you know what? She was born in the 40s, like we know better, we can do better, right? So what do we do, right? In terms of getting them to reflect and reset after being angry, right? So we want to acknowledge their emotions. Yeah, that was really upsetting for you. I understand that, right? We want to ask and shift to problem-solving questions, right? The next time you feel this way, last time you did this, and it brought you down from a 7 to a 2, okay? What do you think you can do next time, right? You can cue them. You want to really get them to think about, this is an emotion. This is how I problem solve my way through it, right? And also to know that anger is just temporary, that they can be in control of these emotions. They can't always be in control of what happens in the world. And that's where you role modeling things is really important, right? And we want to praise the attempts, that ability for them to be angry, when they were angry 10 minutes instead of 3 hours. Wow, I noticed a huge difference in you, Amy. What did you do last time? That was fantastic, right? Instead of, well, you still got angry. That doesn't help. No, people. That is a huge difference, right? We didn't just learn to ride our bike in one shot. For those of us who have college degrees, we didn't go to one class. We have to reinforce, right? I know anger is frustrating and you're really starting to understand you have the power to shift, okay? So you can help your child regulate, not be angry without overreacting and getting super hot yourself, right? So number 1, you're going to co-regulate first, right? 2, you're going to give those nonverbal cues. where you're going to avoid escalation, channel anger, and you're going to help them repair and reset after meltdowns, because meltdowns happen. They happen to the most regulated kids. It's life. You have meltdowns. Why are they any different? They're just learning. So I hope this was empowering for you today. I hope you learned something new. If you need more help helping your child to regulate, well, that's what we're all about. And if you're looking for the right solution to help you, guide you, you go to drroseann.com/help. You take our solution matcher, and it's going to match you to the right solution. And know that whatever path it puts you on, every single path leads to regulated children, regulated families, and because it starts with regulating the nervous system. So you got this. I look forward to hearing about all the ways that you're changing your family from moving to a dysregulated family to a calm one.